Before I begin, I just want to explain that I'm going down to London to stay with my brother for a few days, starting on Thursday. This is why my video is early. Okay? Good. Today I'm going to discuss albums that are critically acclaimed, popular with the general public, or seen as influential by other musical acts that I, personally, do not like. These range from ones I don't get to ones that I absolutely hate. I'm not saying all of them are bad, they just don't rub me the right way. Number 10. Manic Street Preachers, Journal for Plague Lovers. Journal for Plague Lovers is by no means a bad album, and unlike some other entries on this list, I'm actually glad everyone likes it. It's not unpleasant to listen to, and I do give credit to the musicianship, production, lyrics and cover art. However, there are two things stopping me from liking it. The first of which being the lasting appeal. There is little. Journal came out when I was 12, and I could remember every song I heard back then. Probably due to the fact that I didn't spend hours and hours listening to music daily like I do now to make these videos. Despite that, I still forgot every song off this album besides Jackie Collins' Existential Question Time, showing that there are a few standout moments on it. Secondly, the songs just have a bad habit of starting really promisingly and then descending into horribly banal choruses, which is a problem since the choruses should be the best part. Again, this album doesn't make me want to remove my ears with a pair of pliers, but it just isn't memorable. Number 9. Radiohead, The King of Limbs. This isn't so much an album I dislike, so much as it is an album I just don't know what to think about. Over the course of Radiohead's career, they have slowly distanced themselves from loud guitars and have instead embraced electronica and abstract lyrics. This album is nothing but those two things, as it completely drops any rock garb Radiohead previously donned. The lack of guitars bothers me greatly because Radiohead have two of my favourite guitarists in the world, and they don't shred once. It's pretty much just electronica, and that's why I don't care for it much. But this album is low on the list because maybe I just don't understand it, and maybe I'll end up appreciating it when I'm older. Upon hearing it, I wasn't necessarily angry or disappointed, just confused. Number 8. Sonic Youth, Daydream Nation. I hate a bad album just as much as everyone else, but a bad album that doesn't have the courtesy to end? That really riles me. The length, which is torturous by the way, isn't the only thing I hate about Daydream Nation. I also can't stand how atonal it is, partly due to the compositions, but also because of the fuzzy recording sound. It just sounds like loud noise to me, and nothing more. Number 7, The Arctic Monkeys. Whatever people say I am, that's what I'm not. I didn't get the hype when I was 8, and I don't get it now. I just fail to understand what's so special about the Arctic Monkeys. A lot of people praise their lyrics, which I can understand, but here's the thing. Their music is underwhelming. There were a million bands like the Arctic Monkeys before the Arctic Monkeys, and they just do nothing new. Also, I really don't like Alex Turner's vocals. He doesn't even sound like he's singing. He just sounds like he's chanting, almost as if he's at a football match rather than a recording booth. I still don't get the hype. Number 6, AC/DC, Back in Black. Good lord, do I detest this band. I used to like them, but not anymore. My reason for disliking Back in Black is simple. All the songs sound the bloody same. That doesn't just describe this record, but virtually all of AC/DC's material after and including this record. On top of that, AC/DC just exemplify everything I hate about the genre hard rock. Insultingly simple compositions? Check. Annoying shrill vocals? Check. Juvenile lyrics? Check. British frontman who sings in a fake American accent? Check. If you've been watching my videos for the last few months, you've probably noticed that I haven't covered much hard rock, and albums like Back in Black are why. Number 5. Led Zeppelin, Physical Graffiti. Like I said, I usually hate hard rock, but I don't usually hate Led Zeppelin. Zeppelin's first few albums are so good that even I like them. They're a band that just had way more talent than most of their contemporaries, and this is the case once again on Physical Graffiti. However, the reason why I don't like it is simple. Robert Plant. I don't mind his singing in previous Zeppelin records, but in this one his voice is even more annoying and high than it ever has been. I find it hard to get through the first track because of this. On top of that, this album has no business being 2 hours long. Number 4. Green Day, American Idiot. This overrated mess came out in 2005, and it still reaps praise. With the exception of Jesus of Suburbia, I do not like any of it. American Idiot sounds good the first time you hear it, but it gets boring really fast, with lots of unnecessary filler shoved in there too. This is meant to be a concept album with a storyline, but the story makes no sense whatsoever. And lastly, American Idiot just sounds overproduced and lacks the grit that previous albums had. And I don't even like Green Day. Why this particular Green Day album gets so much love, I'll never know. Number 3. The Clash, London Calling. I'm a huge fan of The Clash's first 2 albums, and that's about it. Their third record, London Calling, is considered to be not only the best album by The Clash, but one of the greatest albums of all time, and is praised for its incorporation of ska, rockabilly and jazz into The Clash's signature sound. So why don't I like it? Those reasons. I despise all of those musical genres, so it should surprise nobody that I'm not fond of London Calling. And strangely enough, I really want to like London Calling, because it has some songs that I adore, such as Lost in the Supermarket and Train in Vain. But the rest of it just doesn't allure me. Number 3. The Sex Pistols, Never Mind the Bollocks. Wow, you probably think I hate punk, but actually I like punk. Not the Sex Pistols though. They might have been groundbreaking, but that doesn't make them talented. Johnny Rotten's singing just consists of nasal growls, the bleary guitar work gets old really fast, and Sid Vicious is the worst bassist of all time. I don't care if this was different to popular music that came before it. That doesn't make it good music. They show a staggering lack of ability and new ideas when it comes to their own music on their own album, and they repeat riffs as if it's just okay to do that. In addition to that problem, I also think that the lyrics are completely idiotic. Finally, number 1. Oasis, What's the Story, Morning Glory. This album is on pretty much every list of the greatest albums of all time, on every publication or internet article. And nobody has ever given a good reason for this. How does anyone like this pathetic excuse for a band? Oasis are an unoriginal, tedious and meandering group, and it's not hard to believe that this album is an unoriginal, tedious, and meandering pile of dog vomit. The compositions are lazy and unadventurous, the lyrics are either schmaltzy or don't make any sense at all, and there's not a single good performer on it. Noel Gallagher's guitar work is nothing to even think about writing home about. The drummer whose name nobody cares to find out shows why nobody cares to find out what his name is. I can pretty much apply that same criticism to the barely there bassist, and of course the most nasal voice in pop, Liam Gallagher. I'm being 100% serious when I say this, but when I first heard Liam Gallagher's voice, I thought it was a joke. You see, sometime in 2004, 2005, one of those funny DJs was hosting Radio 2, and this funny DJ would frequently impersonate the artists that he liked in a really silly voice. When he played Wonderwall, I thought it was him pretending to be the singer of Oasis, but it turned out it was really Liam Gallagher. His singing is so flat and so dry that he spoils just about every song on the album. Not that the musicianship was good in the first place, and luckily there are some songs which he doesn't really appear on. They still suck though. And lastly, the fact that Oasis were dubbed Blur's rivals by the press boggles my mind. And that's like comparing Millwall to Arsenal.